The man was surprised to discover in court that his father had been a judge for decades. But today he couldn't remember the names of his colleagues. This aroused the man's suspicion. However, the next day, he found scratches on the front of his father's car. And one of the headlights had been knocked off. But what was even more puzzling was that his father said he hadn't driven the car the night before. At that moment, the police arrived. It turned out that there had been a car accident the night before. The victim had unfortunately passed away, according to eyewitness accounts. At the time of the accident, they had seen his father's car pass by the scene. However, since there were no surveillance cameras in the area, the police could only investigate based on the witnesses' statements, and this impartial judge had become a suspect in a murder case. As a lawyer, Jack decided to clear his father's name. He asked his older brother if his father had been drinking again, but at that moment, his father suddenly walked into the living room. His father's authority intimidated Jack into silence. Soon, the police came knocking again. They found the victim's bloodstains on his father's car. After serving as a judge for a lifetime, he now had a mugshot as a suspect. Fortunately, he didn't have to go to prison for now. When they left the police station, the victim's mother was waiting outside. She shouted at everyone, accusing his father of being the murderer, and finally spat angrily at the car window. His father could only respond with silence. He found his father again, and asked him about what happened that night. His father confessed that he had only gone to the supermarket. On the way back, he encountered a heavy rainstorm, so he returned to the supermarket and took a detour home. After that, his memory was a blank. Jack had doubts. How could his father suddenly lose his memory? Until that day, he saw his father receiving in 4 in the videotape. His eyes instantly became sad. It turned out that his father hadn't intentionally hidden the truth. He was sick. The next day, Jack took his father to the accident site, hoping to jog his memory. At that moment, his father admitted that he had cancer. The memory loss was a side effect of chemotherapy. Jack wanted to reveal his father's condition in court, hoping for a lighter sentence. But his father strongly opposed the idea.
Look what that does to all the cases I've heard for the last year.
You've had this year?
Everybody I sentenced will challenge the ruling.
Strangers, who gives a shit? You're gonna die in prison.
I'd rather die in prison than be remembered like that.
As an old judge who pursues justice, for him, some principles are far more important than life itself. However, death was approaching. That night during dinner, Jack heard a noise coming from upstairs. She hurried upstairs to check, and found her father struggling toward the toilet. He then vomited violently, and also had incontinence symptoms. Her father was like a child who had made a mistake. Jack could only pretend not to see, to maintain her father's dignity. She then helped him clean his body. But at that moment, her daughter knocked on the door, and curiously asked what they were doing.
We're fixing the sink, it leaks.
Can I help?
No, there's water all over the floor.
At that moment, the tense atmosphere turned awkward yet